I'm Christian Garnett, and I'm here today with Mark Shieldrop, a spokesperson for AAA Northeast.
Thanks for having me.
I invited you here today to ask you for snow driving tips, winter driving tips, really, and what to do if you lose control of your car in the ice. We recently spoke to a realtor who talked a lot about new Cape Cod residents and the changes that they would expect moving to Cape Cod and what to look for housing. But something that came to me was that a lot of those people might be moving here from out of state, such as myself. And I have no winter driving experience, or at least I didn't before moving here. I thought it would be fun, well, not fun, but informative to do a piece where I talk to a professional about snow driving tips for people like myself and other new Cape Cod residents.
Well, thanks for having me again. And I appreciate the topic. It's certainly a topic that comes up every year. When we drive on the snow, my best advice and really the number one thing to keep in mind is you have to adjust your driving habits and you have to drive differently. And that just really boils down to slowing down. Oftentimes, other drivers can be a good indicator of how fast you should be driving. So if other cars are moving along at a relatively low speed, you want to get behind those folks and keep a very, significant following distance. You generally want to go with the flow of traffic and kind of model your behavior after other folks. The other tip is when you're driving in the winter, we want to increase that following distance anywhere from 8 to maybe even 10 seconds. Many of these collisions that we see could be completely prevented if people just increase the following distance. The other thing that folks need to consider when they're driving in the snow is that ice is extremely treacherous. It's even a different animal than snow. And the problem with ice is that it's not often visible. So you could be driving along and hit a patch of black ice and not realize it. And you could lose control, especially at higher speeds. Bridges freeze often long before a regular roadway. And then really the last component of, mistakes that people make or prepping for driving in the snow, aside from driving slower and keeping that following distance, is just making sure that your car is up for the task. Many folks are driving with wiper blades that, maybe need to be replaced, or they're driving on tires that are approaching the end of their lifespan.
Here's the big question. What should somebody do if they do lose control of their car while driving in snow or ice?
So that's a great question. And it's kind of situational. There's a lot of different things that can happen where there are times where you need to take evasive action. And then there are times really the best answer is to just lift your foot off the gas. Then if you have room, then the best advice is to try to gradually stop, right? So sudden movements like jerking the wheel or slamming on the brakes, those are things that could cause you to lose traction. So really, the idea overall is to try to smooth out your how you provide input to the vehicle. So more gradual acceleration, more gradual slowing down and stopping. That's why having that following distance is so important. We tell people to look in the direction they want the car to go. So if, say, you start sliding and your car begins to, slide in the wrong direction, the old advice was, steer in the opposite direction of the skid. That's really complicated advice. Really, what we recommend these days is focus on where you want the car to go. So try to not panic, try not to make too abrupt of any, input, try not to slam on the brakes or try not to slam on the steering wheel. More gradual motions, but just stay calm, take your foot off the gas, try to reduce your speed and steer in the direction that you want to go, by keeping your eyes focused on where you want the car to go. And that's really the best way to avoid a collision. Never use your cruise control when there's snow or any inclement weather. That can cause the wheels to slip. Those systems, anticipate dry pavement. So you definitely don't want to use any of that. You're going to be on extra alert. You're going to have to be extra attentive. It's going to be a little bit more draining and exhausting to drive in the snow. But if you stay calm and just focus on, going slow and easy, you can make it safely to your destination.
Well, Mark, thank you so much for all this information. And thank you for joining us here today on Cape Media News.